Obviously didn't do great with Monterrey. He has now been acquired by Austin FC. I mean, we were talking about 12 million there with Orlando. He was acquired for 10 million. What do you think?
All right, so, I always have a hard time calling a player a loser because every situation is different, right? And certainly Monterrey are winners here. They paid 7 million, 7 plus, I believe, a little bit over 7 million for a player, and they turned around and sold a player that they weren't going to use and was probably on the way out anyways, and sold them for 10 million plus, reported 10 million plus add-ons,
Monterrey
right?
needs more money, right?
Because Monterrey needs more money. So that's good business for them.
Yeah.
And I also think I don't know about business, but it's a good signing for Austin if they feel that's the player that's going to take them to that next level. Because that's a fan base that has made some noise. That's a fan base that's demanded some. That's a fan base that's been very vocal, whether it be the Josh Wolf era or whether it's now. They want that good season that they had. They want their moment in the sun. And if they feel that Brandon Vazquez, regardless of the $10 million plus that they spent for him, can be that player, that 9 to take him there, then you go get your 9. You go get your DP. You go get whatever you think will make you competitive. That is your club's responsibility. That's not on Monterrey. That's not on Brandon Vazquez. That's not on the U.S. men's national team. That's on you to go get your player that you think can make you competitive. But if I'm Brandon Vazquez, and I just mentioned Alejandro Sendejas and the players that were on his level, his youth teams, those national teams. I mentioned Weston McKennie. I mentioned Tyler Adams. I mentioned Christian Pulisic. I mentioned Luca De La Torre. Do you know who was there with Sendejas? You know who was there with those players? It was Brandon Vazquez. And Brandon Vazquez, before he left Major League Soccer, before he left Cincinnati, FC Cincinnati, there were reports of Bundesliga teams knocking on that door. They were literally batting away offers. And he only goes to Europe. And I only want to go to Europe were his words. That's where I want to be. That gives me the best opportunity to be on the U.S. men's national team 2026. His words. And at best, you make this move to Monterrey, it doesn't pan out the way you want. And even though you need to play, at best, this is a lateral movement. We're approaching a situation with the U.S. men's national team where if we're not already there, the majority will be European players in top European leagues. And the 2 to 3 players that you have sprinkled in are domestic Major League Soccer players on these national team camp rosters. A couple of them are goalkeepers, and right back when it was Shaq Moore. They're not in these positions. They're not in these prime positions. Ask Jesus Ferreira how that's gone, and he went to a World Cup.
Yeah.
Ask Jordan Morris. Those are players, good players, that don't have a place here because the trend is European. The trend is you have to prove yourself at the highest of levels. Now, if that's where the majority are at, given Brandon Vazquez's skill set, I thought he could have gone and played at a higher level. This is not a slight on on Austin, who are doing what they need to do to try to win.
Yeah.
It's not a slight on Brandon, who wants to take care of his family, if that's the case. Wants to live in Austin, if that's the case. But certainly, your U.S. men's national team opportunities in 2026 take a hit if you're not competing at the highest of levels versus players who are competing at the highest levels in a position that is wide open. And that's what, to me, is the one thing that I hope he's getting his bag. I hope he's getting paid because that position, that 9 position, is wide open at the moment, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like your speech just kind of boils down to, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
I'm not disappointed at him. Every case is different, right?
Disappointed because the expectations were different, but there's still an opportunity for him. Maybe he just needed to get out of Monterrey at this point. Maybe he needed a fresh start. Austin is a fantastic city. Go to Torchy's Tacos. It's a great place to live. But when it comes to those expectations, they're kind of staggered.
Yeah, and you know what? I see this discourse online where they talk about quality of life, and it gets so lost on some people what quality of life means, and people, xenophobia comes into this. They're like, well, where would you rather live, Austin or Monterrey? If you've ever been to San Pedro, get a grip. Get a grip. There are places outside the U.S. that are certainly better than some places in the U.S. There's something for everybody. And if what you want to be is a footballer that lives a footballing culture, there are a few places like San Pedro for a footballer. There really are.
Yeah.
So take that noise out the window. I hope he enjoys Austin. I hope he proves me wrong. I really do, because he's got a skill set that no other 9 in this pool has. He really does. Size, strength. He's good in the air. It's a player that, for that size and strength, has some quickness to him, and he's shown an ability to score goals in bunches.
Yeah.